Hi, good morning everybody. This is Pastor David, and today is another session of our spiritual Saturday, our virtual spiritual Saturday, and it's going to be, of course, on the promise, a pictorial biography of His Eminence Tsem Tulku. So, I'm not going to go into it immediately because I know people only start coming like 10, 15 minutes later. So, if you have any questions about the previous, let me do a recap. Since we're waiting for people to come on, let's do a recap. And last week, what I did was I explained a few things. I explained about Rinpoche. There's four things I explained regarding Rinpoche, the term Rinpoche, Tulku, Guru, and Lama. So these four things I explained last week, the meaning of it. If you missed it, please watch it again. If you have any questions regarding the distinction between these four terms used in Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, then hi JB Tong, I just saw you just now, and hi Cindy and whoever else. Fun, I think, is here. I see a few other people coming on. Welcome to our virtual spiritual Saturday. So I was doing a recap of the previous week. So while waiting for people to come on before I go on with Rinpoche's biography, I spoke about the four terms: Rinpoche, Tulku, Guru, and Lama, and also I explained in the traditional sense, what a biography is for. I explained the term Namta, liberating stories, which is the Tibetan term for a biography of a Lama. And also I went into the previous lives of Rinpoche that was in the promise. Okay, the first part. By tradition, they follow the chronological order, which is usually they first speak about his previous lives to give an understanding of his qualities. Okay, so if you have read Rinpoche's biography, The Promise, or if you have come across his stories of his previous lives in the blog or whatever, maybe you can tell me, hi, Kelsang Sutrin and Ziding. Hi, welcome. Maybe you want to tell me about which incarnation is your favorite, or you relate to it, to this incarnation. For me, which incarnation I particularly like? Let me think. I like a lot. I particularly like. What comes to mind was, of course, Virupa. The Mahasiddha Virupa. I spoke about this story a little bit last week, and I particularly like Ralotsawa. I particularly like Panchen Sonantrapa, and I definitely like Kangxi, the emperor, Chinese. I don't know. For me, I know I'm Chinese, but I'm more English educated. So for some reason, I have always found a fascination for Chinese culture, especially Chinese imperial culture. I used to buy books. I like the art, actually. I like the Chinese art, porcelain, calligraphy. I like to read about it. I like to know about it, and I find it interesting. So, so that's why. And with Kangxi, I thought it was fascinating, because Rinpoche has been like Tibetan most of his incarnations, Indian and Tibetan, of course, and that particular one stands out. And these are some of the favorites. Of course, Naropa also is one incredible story. Yes, hi Joy. Yes, I know some of you will be. If you haven't seen my pictures on my Facebook page, you'll be what happened to his hair? Yeah, it's I decided to, have a shave because it's easier to maintain now, because I don't think I'll be seeing the barber anytime soon, so I don't think I will. And also it's easy to manage. So okay, the topic is not actually my hair. Okay, the topic is on Rinpoche. So as we wait for more people to come on, we can recap a little bit about maybe you want to tell me, any of you, I haven't seen any feedback about which particular incarnation you particularly like. So I'll look on the screen. So if you're wondering what I'm doing when I look, this way down, it's because I'm looking at my laptop here. So I can see better the screen of what comments that you may have. Okay, so I'm particularly casual. Oh, hi Julia, thank you for joining. I am doing a recap right now of last week, and I'm asking, maybe you want to tell me which particular incarnation that you particularly like. Julia likes Naropa. Me too. And anyone else, if you're wondering which incarnation, and you're not so good to scan the blog, okay, there is Mahasiddha Virupa. Hi, Adil Muhammad. Oh, okay. Hello. Tony Sambota, King Trisun Detsun, Mahasiddha Naropa, Lotsawa Loden Sherap, Ra Lotsawa, my favorite, Ra Lotsawa, it's really powerful. Shakya Sri Bhadra, Bhutan Rinchen Drup. Oh. Adil Muhammad, can you share good? Oh, hi, Adil, Mr. Muhammad. Today, what we're doing is we're going to talk about the founder of Kuchara, His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche. So we won't be talking about other topics at the moment. Please understand. Okay. Alice says she likes Bhutan Rinchen Drup. Okay. Which other incarnation? Just to let you know which ones. I was at Shakya Sri Bhadra, Bhutan Rinchen Drup, Sakya Pandita, Duzin Drapa Gyaltsen, Pension Sonan Trapa, Emperor Kangzi, another favorite, Gendo Netra, Kentru Tupten Langsang. Okay, these are some of Rinpoche's incarnations. Oh, Jacinta, hi Jacinta, you asking who this is? Okay, this is Rinpoche's personal statue. It is white Tara, and the style is unusual because it's Mongolian. I remember Rinpoche said to me before, he explained that this. I also thought it was unusual and beautiful. It is a Mongolian white Tara. Okay. And yeah, so Joy says she likes Virupa, Ra Lotsawa, Naropa, Kangzi. Yeah. So what happened is, continue, tell me more, tell me whatever incarnations you particularly like, especially if it's different from the rest, like for me it was, my favorite was Naropa. I like Naropa, I like Ra Lotsawa, I like Naropa, I like Emperor Kangzi. I like also the Bhutan Rinchen Drup, which is unusual because he's a great scholar, and he's best known for compiling the Kangyo and the Dangyo. Okay, so what's the Kangyo and the Dangyo? Kangyo is actually the spoken words. The word Kangyo literally means spoken word of the Buddha. So it contains all the sutras and tantras that was attributed to the Buddha's teachings directly from his mouth. So those were compiled together, translated, and it's in the collection of 108 volumes. Hi, Daoshun, Cham Daoshun. Hi, PJA, Pastor Jinai, welcome. We are doing a recap of previous lives of Rinpoche, and which is your particular favorite? Tony Vajra, hello. I'm just doing it for a while, then we go into the actual, because I'm waiting for people to log on. But Tony Vajra says something. What is something? Right now, I did a very special setup where I can actually see as your comments come in directly the phone. So it's nice, easier, because I also refer to this. Let me see if I can see myself here. No, I don't see myself. So never mind. Okay. What happens is today I was going to cover Rinpoche's childhood, his birth and childhood. It's chapter 1. It's called it's reversed. Sorry, auspicious beginnings. Okay, so this part I do think that I should read a little bit and tell you a little bit and give you a rundown of Rinpoche's childhood. Hi, Mr. Kok Yun Lam. Mr. Lam, actually, I think that should be your surname, right? Hi. Yeah, I know. My hair. Yeah, everybody seems to have a lot to say. Usually, I ask people about my previous hair, and then what they say is they like the previous hair, but they still find this interesting. Oh, well, whatever. So today is not actually about my hair. Today is actually about Rinpoche's story. Okay. So what happened is like this. Rinpoche was born in 1965 in Taiwan. Rinpoche's mother and Rinpoche's father. The mother was Kalmyk. Kalmyk is one of the tribes of Mongolia. Okay, and her tribe was descended from Genghis Khan, so she's Mongol. And then Rinpoche's father is Tibetan. He's an ex-monk. And so what happened was they met in Taiwan, because this is after the Second World War. So they met in Taiwan briefly, and they have an affair. And out of this affair, Rinpoche was conceived. Okay, so what happens was because Rinpoche's father was married, or rather he had no plans to have to. They never got together. They never got married. So Rinpoche was born out of wedlock. And the mother she's also a princess, by the way. She is a princess, an heir to a really long dynasty, a Mongol dynasty. So what happened was she was embarrassed. So what happened was the grandmother put Rinpoche under foster care. So while Rinpoche was placed under foster care initially to a Chinese lady. And so Rinpoche was very young at that time. Oh, before I go into that part of the story, I know a very important part of Rinpoche's story is actually what Rinpoche's mother told him later on, was that when Rinpoche was was not born yet, the mother had many signs. Okay, the mother had dreams, basically dreams of an elephant. Of leading an elephant into a garden and tying it to a tree, and then that dream was recurring. And also, when Rinpoche was born, there was a lot of Tibetan monks come to her house, and they did a huge puja, a prayer ceremony in her house, and that was the morning of the day that Rinpoche was born. So, what does all this means is usually, I think if you are familiar with the Buddhist story, you will find that it's similar, because the Buddha's mother had a dream as well, and also of an elephant. And why elephant? some people might. I don't know if that thought came to you. That thought came to me. So I was wondering, why elephant? Rinpoche didn't exactly explain it, but in Buddhism, if you read a lot, you will find that elephant has a particularly significance because that animal is associated with bodhisattvas. A bodhisattva is a person who has developed great compassion and great patience. And the animal in particular, hi CKCR, hi Yiling, nice to see you here. I'm going on to Rinpoche's childhood. So this is before Rinpoche was born. So I was talking about the mother's dream. So the significance of I felt the significance. Rinpoche didn't say, I'm a emanation bodhisattva. No, he never said that. But his mother did tell that she had dreams of an elephant being brought into her garden, and she brought that elephant into a garden tied to a tree. So why an elephant? The significance of elephant in Buddhism is that of a bodhisattva. So that represents Rinpoche coming into her womb. And Rinpoche, bodhisattva means someone who has practiced compassion in previous lives and developed it to a certain level. So bodhi means awakening, sattva means a being. So the Buddha's mother also had a similar dream as well. So hence, it's kind of indicative. It indicates of the level of being that Rinpoche would be in that life. A level of compassion. Okay, so I thought I'd share that with you so you get an understanding of Rinpoche's mother's dream. It's not just a story, it's not just, wonderful, similar to Buddha, but in what way is it similar, we don't know. So I'm telling you, in Buddhism, elephants have great significance because it represents bodhisattvas. That's one, and another that it represents great patience. Elephants are known to be extremely patient. There's a quality of an elephant. So in Buddhism, that's also significant. This too. Okay? So I thought I'd let you know. And then, of course, Rinpoche was born and didn't give her mother much pain, and no pain actually. And the mother dreamt that a lot of monks come to her house on the day of Rinpoche's birth and did a puja. This is in a dream, of course. And then when Rinpoche was born, what we were told is that monks came to look because there were signs, they have followed the signs and they led to Rinpoche, and they wanted to bring the newborn baby Rinpoche to the monastery. Of course, at that time he was not officially recognized yet, to be brought to the monastery to be recognized. Unfortunately, we do not have details of which monastery, where the monks came from, but all we know is that monks did recognize Rinpoche unofficially, wanted to officially recognize, but the mother had other plans. The mother explained that if Rinpoche was to be who he would be, he will find his own way. I will not allow it. So Rinpoche was not brought to the monastery. So at this point in the story, I want to explain a few things. Okay, so in the Tibetan tradition, incarnate lamas, okay, one of the things is, one of the important aspects of an incarnate lama, a lama who has been reborn, right, and it's recognized from a young age. It is important to educate them at a young age, spiritually, of course in this day also secularly, but more importantly is to prepare him for his role in the future. So the whole institution of a Rinpoche, of a Tulku, is to prepare them to fit that role. So it would, when they are prepared, when they're educated well, when they are given good teachers, they will grow up to be very, very beneficial to society, to sentient beings. In Buddhism, they say sentient beings because all lamas do work that go across many, many levels, not just humans, but let's stick at humans for now. So anyway, so the idea was to bring to the monastery, not necessarily just because it's a Rinpoche. It's actually the more important thing is to nurture and educate a young Rinpoche, a young Tulku, a young incarnate lama. Hence, we have plans for Rinpoche's future incarnation when he is discovered of his education. Okay, so it's very, very important. So unfortunately for Rinpoche, he did not experience being brought to the monastery, and at the same time also to it led to who Rinpoche became. So what happened was Rinpoche was not brought to the monastery, of course. So he was put under foster care under a lady, a Chinese lady. I think there's a picture here somewhere. She Mama. There's a lady here. That's Rinpoche actually next. She was placed under foster care, and unfortunately, she didn't do a particularly good job. Rinpoche was kind of neglected. According to Rinpoche himself, when he was very young, he was left to wander on his own. Although he's just a toddler, he was left to wander around and on his own, hungry and quite badly neglected. And luckily, Rinpoche also had Rinpoche's mother's classmate, Kwan Mama. This is this lady here, because she would. The mother told her to come and look for it, when she has time to go see her son. So she did. She went and she brought toys, and she was according to Rinpoche, she was very kind to Rinpoche. She brought toys and took him out, and then the Kwan Mama's brother, which is this man here, he would take him and wash him, and Rinpoche has a lot of memories. Early memories of that. I don't know about you. I would say that Rinpoche had incredible memory because I don't remember much of my own, early childhood, toddler days. Do you? If you do share. What do you think about that, and also about Rinpoche's childhood, right? So Rinpoche was neglected, and eventually the grandmother would come also to inspect, to see how Rinpoche was doing, and eventually I think she found out, and so she was taken away from the care of this lady, and Rinpoche was brought to America, and what happened is Rinpoche was brought to America to be placed under the care of another, this time not Chinese, this time Kalmyk Mongol, and under Dana and Boris Bogayev. And so Rinpoche's incredible story from Taiwan to America in the tri-state area of New York. What is that place called? New Jersey. Why I say New York is because I actually went there. I traveled there before. I traveled to New York a couple of years back, actually to meet some High Lamas, and with a group of us. What happened was we took a car ride to New Jersey from New York. It's not very far. Unfortunately, if you're listening from New York, I'm so sorry. I hear the situation is quite bad with the COVID virus now. I wish you all the best, and do some prayers. It was a short trip. I think it's about an hour and a half, the most. It's quite near New York, but it's quite country, and very, very beautiful. I went, I think, to it in summer, and their summers was very mild, and when the breeze came, it was cooling, it was dry, and the sun was not too hot. It was beautiful. So anyway, Rinpoche was placed under foster care under Dana and Boris Bogayev, and he entered their household. This is Ben when they were younger. Okay. So what happened was, as Rinpoche grew older, right? He, of course, his behavior, as a young incarnate Lama. Nobody knew he was a young incarnate Lama. Nobody, this is America. These are Mongols, Kalmyk Mongols who were, how do you say, who were basically pretty much Americanized, gotten used to the American lifestyle. So, and furthermore, it's he goes to school in America and all that. And what Rinpoche said was that he didn't have what I have my doubts actually. I do think maybe Rinpoche would not tell because out of his humility, he would say, "Oh, I have memories of my, when I was my previous life." Perhaps he did, but he never told us. So what Rinpoche did tell us was that he particularly liked to do a few things. He liked to hang out in the temple. He loved Buddha statues. He loved Buddhist art, and he would read voraciously about Buddhism, as much as the books that were available at that time in English. And then he would draw Buddha images, and he would make little round Buddha, he would cut it out from paper, and then he would draw, like Tara, Manjushri, whatever Buddhas, and then put a string and then give to people, like what we have as pendants, and then he would, which was unusual for a kid that time, being raised in America. He also liked to play, he would like to take the blanket and he'd put it around him like robes, and he would imagine composing. He would cut out strips of paper and then he would compose gibberish, of course, but he imagined composing text, and then from this gibberish text, gibberish just means nonsense, as kid language, So what he would teach to an imaginary audience. And Rinpoche would do things like that. And then Rinpoche was also asked a lot of questions. He would make friends in the temple. He asked a lot of questions, and that was how Rinpoche was like. When I was, I don't know. For me, when I was a kid, I can't remember much, but I don't think I have that much spiritual inclination. Perhaps some of you may have. I don't. I didn't. So I'm telling you, it's just to give you a comparison. See, for a normal person, a normal child, who's raised. Hi Wei Ting. Hi Sharon. Hi Chris. Thank you for coming on to a virtual spiritual Saturday. And so Rinpoche's childhood was different in that he had intense interest in Buddhism. He was different in that way, and because you see, all of us are like, we come to Dharma different periods of our life. Some come a little younger, perhaps when we are, we first perhaps heard of Kachara when perhaps we come to I don't know if you guys, some of you, your kids, some of you guys, because you have a problem, so you come and you pray to Satrap, Dorje Shukden, or you pray to Lama Tsongkhapa. Some you came because of the art, some you came because of KSK, Kachara Sukhishin. I came because I met Rinpoche earlier on, about 17, 18 years ago. All of us come to Dharma differently. Rinpoche came to Dharma, so-called came to Dharma because he was surrounded by Dharma from a very young age, from when he was a toddler. So he was very, very different in that sense, because what Rinpoche explained it was that he had a lot of blessings and seeds. Seeds are imprints. What's a seed? When we talk in Kachara, we talk of planting seeds, right? Not literally, fruit tree or flower tree seeds, but spiritual seeds. What's a seed? Seed is an imprint. Imprint can be planted in many, many ways. An imprint can be planted when you look at, for example, Tara. This is Tara here. If you look at Tara's beautiful form, when you look at her, a seed has been planted in our mind. Even when we are not paying attention, even when we are, in a state of confusion or angry, just one look. That's the power of a Buddha's form, Buddha image. And it doesn't have to be Tara, it could be Dorje Shukden, it could be Vajrayogini, it could be Lama Tsongkhapa. Just looking can plant a seed. We can plant seeds all the time. Right now, when I talk about Rinpoche's story, I'm planting seeds in your mind without you even realizing it. For some of you, it may be, it's a story, it's a beautiful story. But everything about Rinpoche's life is about the Dharma. So just listening to the Dharma plants seeds in our mind. So when we plant a lot of seeds in our mind, some are bound to sprout. When the conditions are right, just like a normal plant, like a flower or vegetable or a tree, when the condition, what's the condition for a plant? Or it's sunshine, it's water, it's the soil is fertile, then the seed will sprout. Okay, that's for seeds, that's for trees and plants. But for spiritual seeds, what's the condition? If we do our sadhana, if we keep our commitments, if we do Dharma practice, eventually the seeds will come up. It will sprout. What sprouts from spiritual imprints? Dharma realizations. So what happens is, for Rinpoche, he had definitely plenty, this is what according to Rinpoche's account, plenty of spiritual seeds, that's why it sprouts from a young age. So for some of us who wish to meet the Dharma early in our life and not late in our lives, in our future lives, we have to plant many, many seeds. We have to constantly do practice, do our sadhana, keep our commitments, go on Rinpoche's blog, read about Dharma, and plant lots of seeds. So when we have planted a lot of seeds, when we have a full or a lot of spiritual imprints in our mind stream, there's a higher chance in the future life that we will meet the Dharma early on. Perhaps not as early as Rinpoche, depends, I don't know, depends on your attainments actually. Then perhaps, then you have less obstacles to meet the Dharma in future lives. For some of us, we meet the Dharma but the seed even if we're in the Dharma, the seed hasn't sprouted. I don't know whether you know what I mean, but that means we have not transformed, we have not, to gain realization is difficult, we find Dharma difficult, we find it's a chore to do Dharma, to read about Dharma. There's a sign that our spirit, we have seeds, we have met the Dharma, we realize its importance, its significance, but no realizations means our seeds are still there. Some have sprouted, but not enough. So continue. That's why Rinpoche tells stories of how even as high lamas who are extremely learned, they would go for teachings on as basic as the Lamrim. Although these are great learned masters, they would go for Lamrim and they tell Rinpoche that, for example, Shapa Choje, they would tell Rinpoche that I need to plant seeds for my future lives. Even great masters like that need to plant seeds, what more us, So that's what we're doing together. It's not just you, it's me also, By telling Rinpoche, by recalling Rinpoche's life and telling you their significance, then you will pick up something and hopefully you'll help your practice, I'm the type, I like to tell stories, but I also like to explain the significance. I think it's more meaningful instead of just reading it as a storybook. Okay, so Rinpoche's life, his childhood, is exemplary in that sense that he has plenty of Dharma seeds, plenty of imprints. So it sprouts very, very early on. When he barely is like, just a toddler. So that's Rinpoche. Okay. So Rinpoche, right now where I am, Rinpoche already has arrived in America, and he's growing up, and he plays. He likes animals. I didn't manage to talk about Rinpoche's love for animals. And Rinpoche had several dogs, 2 in fact, if I remember correctly. And what happens is Rinpoche, from a very young age, have a love for animals. I think many, not all, but many kids love animals. I think all of us when we're young, but as we grow older, our human relationships become more important, and some of us find that our care and love for animals have taken the back seat. So some people continue on, some people don't have that, they say, I'm not an animal person. It's not right or wrong, it's just a thought came to me, I just thought I'd share. Hi Iman, hi Chong Hin. Nice, thank you for joining me for our virtual spiritual Saturday. So I'm talking about Rinpoche's story, and right now I'm in Rinpoche's childhood, and I was thinking about our love because Rinpoche loves animals, and I also, when I was young, I had lots of pets. I was not the best of caregiver to pets. My mom used to tell me that I killed a tortoise when I was a kid from playing too much. So I obviously didn't have that much compassion. But Rinpoche was different. Rinpoche, he worked in a pet shop. He had a dog, and Rinpoche had continued into Rinpoche's love for animals never stopped. Ever since, for me, my personal experience with Rinpoche was when I knew Rinpoche. Rinpoche always, when he sees an animal, he recites a mantra, several mantras. And I always wondered why. Initially, he didn't explain. Then later on, he did. And maybe because I was too new to understand the significance of when you recite mantras, you blow on. The first mantra I heard Rinpoche recite to an animal was Manjushri, Umara Basanadi. So when I first heard it, I was like, wow, what kind of mantra is that? And then Rinpoche explained that it plants Dharma seeds in their mind stream. Just like what you're doing right now. Although I'm not reciting mantras, but I'm talking about, I'm relating to you Rinpoche's life and his childhood. And so I am planting seeds of Dharma in your mind because this is your Lama. And the Lama represents the Dharma to you. Okay, so Rinpoche would recite mantras ever since I knew Rinpoche. I'm sorry I'm going back and forth a little bit because, feel free to ask any questions, give any comments. Don't let me mesmerize you with my incredible story that you're just listening. Give me feedback, so I can explain, ask me anything about Rinpoche's childhood or any part of Rinpoche's life that you wish to clarify or wish me to highlight, whatever it is. Because right now I'm in Rinpoche's childhood. Okay. Hi, Mr. Lam. I see that you asked a question. Why does high incarnate lamas need tutoring when they are enthroned? Their mind would already have the huge amount of Dharma knowledge, experience, and seeds. Good point. According to Rinpoche, right? What happens is when they're born, they are not, when they're being tutored, is more of recollect. For a lot of the high lamas, it's just like recollecting. Depending on the work of the lama, okay? I find this interesting because I thought about that too, and Rinpoche brought it up. And Rinpoche said that for a lot of these high lamas, right, they're not learning. It's very, very obvious they're not learning. What they're doing is they're remembering. For example, I ask you immediately, last week, Wednesday, what did you eat? Immediately you don't remember, right? But you have to think and then you recollect and okay, you ate pasta or you ate fried rice or you ate something. So for these high lamas, it is not really learning. It's actually just recalling what they've learned in the previous life. So they pick up, Rinpoche said like this, extremely technical texts and teachings, just like that. Very quick, very fast. So I think that kind of answers your question, right? I see that Alice asked a question about, besides Manjushri mantra, any other mantras we can recite and blow to the animals. Actually, Rinpoche didn't exactly recommend Manjushri. He usually asks us to recite Medicine Buddha. But personally, I've seen Rinpoche recite all sorts of mantras, depending on his timing. Sometimes he just Manjushri, sometimes I hear him recite Om Mani Padme Hum, Chenrezig's mantra. Sometimes a whole list of mantras, Rinpoche, when Rinpoche has time, he would recite Tara, Manjushri, Dodishuten, all sorts of mantras and blow on the animal. But what I remember Rinpoche recommend is Medicine Buddha. Okay? Hi Chin Fei, that's Karen. Hello, how is your house, Mikhail? Sorry, just kidding. Hi. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Lam. So, Rinpoche did mention one thing about animals and about animals, right? What Rinpoche did say is that actually taking care of animals, being concerned by animals, like even the act of just reciting mantras to a stray cat, stray dog, a fish in a pond, is an act of compassion. And it is an act of compassion. It's not a huge, liberating, all sentient beings kind of compassion, great compassion, but it is a bit of compassion from our side, because we stop to do that, recite and blow, and it will plant seeds in their mind stream. It will benefit them in future lives. They will probably not realize it, they will not remember it, and we will not get a thank you. Have you seen an animal thank you? Say it, that means, open the mouth and say it. No, they have not. They cannot. That's one of the sufferings of it for being an animal. They are unable to express their gratitude in words like humans do. That's one of the sufferings of animals. So I know some of you can say, my pet dog, someday he will come and lick me, my hand, that is, and to express thank you for feeding. Some of them can, and actually, personally, I think most animals remember kindness better than a lot of human beings. Yeah. So whatever it is, Rinpoche said that it's an extra. It's good for our practice to extend compassion for animals. Although it is not easy for most people, because it's easier for people to develop compassion for someone they can relate to, like people who are suffering, people who are poor, people who can actually say thank you to you. So that's why Rinpoche say taking care of animals, being concerned by animals, reciting mantras for animals is a form of compassion. It is a good practice. It shouldn't be your only practice, that's your sadhana. Go on the street and recite mantras and blow on them. And some like what Rinpoche does is Rinpoche likes to take dog food, cat food, dry and wet, and packets of milk and little disposable containers, and put it in his car. And when he goes out, whenever he sees an animal, he will ask us to stop the car, feed the animal. And so we do that. And I hear that some Kacharyans are still doing that, and that's wonderful. And once in a while I do that. I know I should do it more, but yeah. It's one practice that Rinpoche has taught us, and which I think should be something we should do from time to time. Of course, some of us have. Of course, not now, lah. I know some that say, "Hey, but right now, there's this COVID thing." Yes, not now. When everything is over, it will come to an end. This whole issue, this lockdown, movement control order, will come to an end, and that's when it's possible. And when we feed the animal, when we put the food down or the milk or whatever we have for them to eat and drink, we should always recite mantras. We should always tell us, always recite mantras. Don't just benefit them for this life, for this moment, because they will eventually, because of their karma, they'll be hungry tomorrow, the next day. And there were so many stray animals in the world. But each time it's your practice. Each time you extend a form of compassion by feeding them for now. Then you recite mantras to benefit them for their future lives. So these two is something that Rinpoche has taught us. Hi Bingkui, hi, wow, Subra Raja. Hello. Mahesh Rama, hello. Welcome to our Virtual Spiritual Saturday. I'm talking about the story of His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche, and this is one of the things that Rinpoche used to do. He used to feed the stray animals on the street. And I'm relating this because it's something that Rinpoche has done and has taught us. And I'm saying this also in relation to Rinpoche's life, because Rinpoche has done similar things since he was a child. He had loved animals. That love for animals from a child to his adulthood has never changed. And in fact, it has grown. So unlike many of us, I think most of us as children, as toddlers, we loved animals. we like them, we appreciate, we play with them, we can. Many of us take care of animals, when we were a child. Then as we grew older, human relationships became more important, so that took the back seat. So that would be different. How Rinpoche is different from us. Rinpoche's level of compassion grows. Ours need to be developed again. I won't say it went backwards, but I would say it just needs to be developed again. So this is spirituality. This is compassion. So this is one form of compassion. This is not the only form of compassion, but this is one form of compassion. Okay, so this is Rinpoche's story. Okay, his childhood, this is what he used to do, is take care of animals. He loved animals. One of the defining characters of a incarnate lama, a tulku, that means a lama who had developed a level of wisdom and compassion from previous lives, is that it's very easy from a very young age to have compassion. You don't find incarnate lamas killing animals, like some normal people do, and become, so they have compassion. So it's something that developed in previous lives. It's in a way indirectly proves previous lives and future lives. Okay, I have a comment/question from Iman. Hi, Pastor David. This is from Iman. Huh? Hi, Iman. Once a High Lama is reincarnated, when will he know who he was? Will he know it at a very young age? Thanks. According to Rinpoche, according to Rinpoche, what happens is when Rinpoche said that Rinpoche didn't say, oh, I was a previous life, or I can remember my previous life, or I can feel like I'm a High Lama. Even he always knew somehow he was different. Rinpoche did say that. He felt he was different from people. And in a sense that he felt that he had to fit a certain role to teach and benefit. And he has his life's work cut out for him. And later on, he did feel that he was different. He was, he picked up things better, faster. And but there's always, even when Rinpoche was recognized, Rinpoche has always expressed self-doubt. Always. Self-doubt, not in the sense that it's self-defeating like us, when we doubt ourselves, our capability, our knowledge, or whatever it is, we feel, we feel down. No, Rinpoche's one is different. Self-doubt is probably his humility, because he feels that he doesn't match up, but he will still do the work anyway, because that's who he is. Rinpoche doesn't do things. I've known Rinpoche for 18 years, 17, 18 years. Let me see, 18 years. This year should be 18th year. So I've noticed a consistency in Rinpoche's, in the way he does things. When he expresses something he wishes to do, he will go do it consistently, and he will not deviate from it. His wish to benefit others, to teach, to benefit, to help his students, his friends, animals, whatever, has never been different. In fact, it's grown because of experience, because of ability, because of learning. He has grown over the years, and he's become better at it, but he has remained consistent in his wish. And so when you have a wish to do something, to be in a certain way, to have a certain behavior pattern, and it's consistent, it means it's part of you, it's who you are, isn't it? So compassion, wisdom, and all that is natural part of Rinpoche. Okay, I've got a comment here. Sometimes our ego overwhelms our expression of compassion to others. Mr. Lam, this is a comment by you. Sometimes our ego overwhelms our expression of compassion to others. Could you elaborate that further? Are you saying it as a problem? Yeah, of course it's a problem. What I would have to say about that would be, yes, sometimes I think how ego overwhelms our compassion is that we wonder whether we should give, we always have this debate with ourselves, whether we should give to the beggar in the street, whether he's, he's going to take the money and use it for drugs, then we end up don't give at all, or when it's so much of a hassle, our ego, because we would rather spend time, spending time with our family, spending time instead of feeding the homeless or feeding the animals. Yeah, of course there will be time. That's why Rinpoche's story is important. That's why knowing that some people in Kachara is continuing Rinpoche's work is a source of inspiration. Hence, I explained that reading Rinpoche's biography, The Promise, or listening about Rinpoche's life. Sometimes you heard the story a million times over. You don't realize it, but it has a blessing into our mind stream because it inspires you, because Rinpoche has done it. And all of us are blessed by Rinpoche. Hi Martin. Hi Jamnor, I think. Anyway, hi, hello, Tashidele. So, listening to a Lama's story, a Lama's biography, inspires us. Inspires to do similar to our own capacity, of course, to keep that flame of our Lama alive. So that's the whole point about reading Namta or liberating stories of high lamas like His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche, and it helps our practice because this is who Rinpoche is consistently over the years. If you read between the lines, Rinpoche has been consistent about a lot of things from his childhood. It's just that his ability was different. As a child, he's different. As an adult, he's different. And his knowledge and ability grows over time. Just like any of us, our knowledge and ability. And for us, is to benefit ourselves. So when we read about Rinpoche, hi Paul, hi Martin. Oh, I said hi already, Martin. So when we read about Rinpoche, when we hear about Rinpoche's life, it inspires us. That's why I tell you what Rinpoche does last time and now, and recent times. So to give you an idea of this consistency. Okay, Mr. Lam says, sometimes we have some fear of showing compassion and concern on others, perceiving us as why we do such things which may be perceived as degrading. Anyway, it's just a thought that maybe, I can't see your full comment. Damn it, I can't see here either. I think what you're trying to say is that we feel that sometimes a little embarrassed, this fanatical person is going out to recite mantras to dogs again. Or this person is going, we feel what people think of us, right, when they see us. Yeah, I'm sure. Some people feel that unsure of how they're doing, whether it makes them look good or not. I mean, I don't think of it as bad or good, or whatever it is, but let's not, the only way to go around it, I think, is, okay, thank you. I think I got what you're trying to say without reading your full message. What I think will help is that focusing on your Lama, focusing on why you're doing it, sometimes doing it in a group. Hence, we have Kachara Sukhishan. Instead of all of us, separating and going our separate ways and feeding, we join in, what's something that Rinpoche has established, Kachara Sukhishan, to feed the homeless. We have the aviary here in Kachara Forest Retreat. We have, unfortunately, we don't have an animal sanctuary as of yet. But we can do our part in small ways. And but Rinpoche did say one thing, okay? All these are good way to develop compassion, but the best way is also, it's through the Dharma. To give the Dharma to others. You don't have to be a pastor, but if you wish to be a pastor, you can. Speak to any of the pastors. You can share the Dharma. You do not need to carry a title of a pastor, a monk, a lama, a Rinpoche, a Tulku to share the Dharma. You can do it in your own capacity, to your friends, to your family. And the best way is not to give a Dharma talk to every single person you meet. That's not recommended, okay? Because imagine someone come up to you, instead of saying hi, Namo Gurube, Namo Buddha. You know, it will come across as fanatical because I had, you know, when I first met Rinpoche and I was really on a spiritual high, and I started explaining people about mandala and what we do, Ganden Lagyama, Guru Yoga, Lama Tsongkhapa. People thought I was crazy. It's crazy. You know, because people don't have the background to absorb what you have to say. So the best way is to exemplify the Dharma through your actions. It's you yourself practice the teachings. You yourself do the sadhana. You yourself find interest in reading about Rinpoche, about the Dharma, about the teachings, and incorporating them into your lives. You know, meaning you lessen your negative habits. You find more joy in volunteering Dharma, in learning Dharma, than just whiling out your weekends and your free time away. I'm not saying that you should jump, give everything, and then go into Kachar Forestry and find a cave here. There's no caves here, unfortunately. There's cabins. Do retreats non-stop. If you can, that's wonderful. But at the moment, I think most city dwellers here, I can see most city dwellers here will not be able to do that immediately. So you can do small retreats. You can learn the Dharma. You can practice the Dharma. You can change. You can lessen your negative qualities. Some of us are angersome, lessen that. Some of us are very jealous, lessen that. Some of us don't really know Dharma much. Increase your Dharma. Dr. Hang says modern animal sanctuary maybe. Yeah, that would be wonderful. That is one of Rinpoche's dreams that has not come true yet. But we do have the aviary and the pond, the fish pond here in Kachar Forest Retreat. So, more importantly is the Dharma within you. When you have practiced the Dharma within you to whatever capacity, degree that you can, then you're able to share the Dharma with people through actions, through your transformation, through skillful means. Skillful means what? Skillful means by doing it according to the person, to your audience, to your friends, your family. People are to their needs, to what appeals to them, not forcing down, because a lot of people, I come across parents, very concerned parents, very kind parents who are concerned for their children. And they want to bring the Dharma to them because as they grow older into their adolescence, and they become more, as all adolescents, we ourselves included, rebellious. We're rebellious at the age we want to go our own way, we want to do our own thing. We don't want parents nosing into our lives and telling us what we should do. We don't want that. So imagine, if you want your children to practice the Dharma, what would appeal to them? So when they look at us, if we're still the same, then how are we going to inspire them to the Dharma? Really, how actually in Kachar is the same thing, a lot of us who are, especially the senior Dharma brothers and sisters, then the younger ones who look at us and we see how much have we changed. They don't actually go around looking and like crosshair and no, not like that. What I mean is, automatically when they look at the senior, they expect some sort of change, transformation, kindness, concern, conscientiousness. I'm not trying to put pressure on anybody, but this is the truth. So what happens is senior Dharma brothers should exemplify the Dharma, should have some sort of renunciation, in the sense that not that we have to throw everything and go into the caves. No, renunciation, what is true renunciation is when we have realized anything that we attach, its true nature. Okay, the true nature of our attachments, and to lessen our attachments through our realization. It's when we have realized it. How do we realize? We lessen it. And I know a lot of us have a lot of attachments. I have a lot of attachments too, my hair included. Just kidding. But anyway, we have a lot of attachments, and so what happens is we have to lessen it. We have to exemplify the teachings. to our own capacity. Everybody have different level of practice, of course. All of us, but we have to practice already because time is short. Rinpoche is not around with us anymore when we are looking for his incarnation. And eventually we will go the same route. We will be old, grow old, sick often, get sick often, and we will pass. We will have our own little episode in the hospital or wherever, in the deathbeds at home. And that's when our realizations, our practice is most important. Okay, so JP Tong here asks me, tell us how you work on losing your attachments. I have tremendous amount of attachments. I always feel, I visualize myself like that. One side is full of attachments, one side is Dharma. This is how I visualize myself. And I'm always at war with myself. Not anybody, with war with myself. And I'm always fighting myself to do what I want, to go and enjoy my attachments, go on non-stop holidays, on a eating binge, shopping binge, So what happens is, how do we lessen it? I feel for me, what helps a lot is listening to Rinpoche's teachings. What helps a lot is doing my sadhana. I cannot go a day without not doing my sadhana, because I feel if I don't do my sadhana, I'm losing that battle. My attachments will win. I always feel that I'm always definitely afraid if I miss one day of sadhana, I'll lose my battle, and one day I will feel that I don't want to be in Kachara anymore. I'm always definitely afraid of that, because it's not good. I have that at least. So Martin says, Rinpoche did a lot for animals and the homeless, but one point I found to be very useful was when Rinpoche asked why wait till a person becomes an animal or homeless, i.e., as in, because I can't see your full message on the screen, so what I think you're trying to say, Martin, is that why wait for people to become, because a lot of animals and homeless were normal people like you and me, right? Who allowed their attachments and delusions to run free and created cause for them to be, okay, I've got. Okay, this is Martin's full comment, okay? Rinpoche did a lot for animals and the homeless, but one point I found to be very useful was when Rinpoche asked, why wait till a person becomes an animal or homeless person, i.e. after their karma have already ripened, before we show kindness to them. Sharing the Dharma, by example, is one way to bring Dharma to them so that they have a chance to avert an unfortunate result. Hence, sessions like this are precious. Thank you, Martin. Good point. And Karen has another question. PDL, what about people who is very new to Dharma, doesn't have a guru and know very little Dharma? How do they visualize or connect the guru and their attachment? Okay, for people who are very new, okay, it is better for them to know more, learn more. Studying, okay, the word studying is a scary word for a lot of people, because some people are not the intellectual kind as they claim to be. They don't like to pick up the book, but you can watch videos, you can talk to senior Dharma brothers and sisters, pastors, have casual conversations, ask questions, think of questions. Don't wait to a session, think of questions in the sense that that applies to you, because sometimes our view and our view as a new Dharma practitioner is different. So ask questions, always be effervescent to ask questions. I would encourage new people to be effervescent to ask questions, to learn, to get involved. in any activity, whether it's learning, whether it's practice, whether it's whatever that appeals to you. Some people it's charity work, some people it's artwork, some people it's voluntary work, some people it's pujas, some people it's ritual, some people everybody appeals differently. So back to what Martin was saying is that why wait for that? So because actually the truth Rinpoche did say is that a lot of us are creating the causes right now with our attachments, with our delusions and hang-ups. We are creating a cause to take rebirth as animals. We are creating a cause to take rebirth in poverty-stricken conditions as homeless people. We're creating causes to take birth in unfortunate situations. So we are doing charity, we are doing Dharma work by sharing the Dharma, inspiring people in the Dharma. Okay? So for new people, old people, doesn't matter. People are deep in practice, people are new in practice. All of us need a few things. We need knowledge, we need practice, we need merits. For a new person, they may not fully understand this term merits. They may not fully understand or appreciate spiritual practice. Maybe they're more just inclined towards whatever field of interest they are in. But over time, everything will converge because everything in Kachara is developed, which is Rinpoche's skillful ways, which is Rinpoche's skillful means to get everybody, progressed, to progress on in the spiritual path. Because our activities, our departments are all are made different avenues to draw people into the Dharma. Okay, so when they come into the Dharma, what happens is it's up to us. It's up to me. It's up to you. I'm the only one person here. So I'm only one pastor. I'm one person. My capability is limited. But I do have a lot of experience and knowledge being with Rinpoche, so I can share with you guys. So my role is to share with you guys Dharma, answer your questions, and your role as normal Dharma Kacharans, whatever capacity, whether you are JP Tong, Bing Hui, someone in charge of different areas, or other pastors, senior Dharma brothers and sisters, or you are very new, your role is to keep Kachara going. All of us keep Kachara going, develop the activities. Right now, I know because of the COVID lockdown, MCO, the movement control order, we have certain limitations, but we work around it. See, this is what we can do: live stream, talk about now. Go on Rinpoche's blog, learn, do retreats. All this that Rinpoche has taught about, we have to recall, especially if Rinpoche has given you personal advice on what you should do and personal instructions. Sometimes the instructions may not be, you have to do retreat. No, not necessarily. Sometimes Rinpoche tells us, you have this, your issue is this and this and this, you have, this and this and this. And then Rinpoche sometimes slip in advice into his cards, his writings, his messages to us. I've seen that many, many times. So sometimes it's good to make sure you keep them. I keep whatever messages I have from Rinpoche and review it from time to time, because I don't think Rinpoche's messages and advice and instructions are meant just for that moment. It is timeless. Because the base issues, all the core issues that we have will always be different. Will always be the same. We're jealous, angersome. For me, like laziness, I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person. So you may be lazy, you may be jealous, you may be angersome, you may be not good with people, whatever it is, your issue is, to lessen it. And some people say, but it's so hard. Changing my bad habit is so difficult. That's why we need merits. So it's good to know how to collect merits, in what way, in what capacity, why we do sadhana, why we do retreats, why we pray to a Buddha image, why we have an altar, why we make offerings, why we light candle to the Buddha. Buddha is not, he lives he doesn't need, he's not in a dark place that he needs all our lights. No, it's not. It's for us. And and then when we go into Wisdom Hall, Kachara House, and then we see all the bowls of water, the Buddha is very thirsty, is it? Rinpoche used to joke about it, the Buddha is very thirsty. No, of course not. The Buddha doesn't need water. It's us. We need the merits. All this is traditional methods to generate merits. So the more merits we have, the more we are able. You see, merits is not just for our transformation. Some of us have perhaps transformed and changed, and now we are looking at furthering our practice. We're looking at developing our Dharma career, our Dharma work, a Dharma voluntary career, a Dharma volunteer life, or just our spiritual practice in general. We wish to progress further. We wish to understand the Dharma better, explain the Dharma, share the Dharma, inspire people. We need merits, You want to benefit people, you also need merits. You need tremendous amount of merits. Rinpoche, in Rinpoche's room, he has a huge altar to Vajrayogini. Some of you may have seen pictures because Rinpoche has shared many times in the past. And many bowls of water. Do you think Rinpoche needs those, merits? No, it's not for Rinpoche. Rinpoche has explained it before. It is for him to collect the merits for Kachara, to benefit people. In order to benefit people, you need to have a lot of merits. So I'm giving you tips now to be a little mini Rinpoche yourself. You want to benefit people? Find ways to collect more merits. It's not just for yourself, it's for other people. Because when you want to benefit people, you have to, firstly, you need the merits. Secondly, some of the negative karma may come in as obstacles to block you. So that's why Dodjishukun practice is very, very important. That's why we do pujas every single month, and especially recommended for us on a personal basis, we should do it daily. Okay, so any questions please share regarding this, Rinpoche's childhood in America, and of Rinpoche's of Rinpoche as a Tulku incarnate Lama, or of any aspect of Rinpoche's life. I mean, I open it to the floor, or to the virtual floor, to you guys. So this is my take on Rinpoche's childhood, and as a small recap, okay, while waiting for you to think of questions, maybe you want to tell me which part of Rinpoche's childhood you find most interesting, most touching, perhaps his time in Taiwan. Did you see the pictures? Have you seen Rinpoche's pictures? He was very cute. And I thought it was incredible because why I thought incredible about those pictures was that when you look at Rinpoche, there's no hint whatsoever of a baby or toddler who had been neglected or abused. All Rinpoche's pictures, he looks like he's so happy, but when Rinpoche tells the story, it's not so happy. Yeah, I find that incredible because I think what Rinpoche, this is who Rinpoche is, like he takes it in. He takes all his suffering in and he gives happiness. For Rinpoche as a baby, he's not able to benefit tremendously, like give Dharma talks and give advice, of course not, but as a baby he smiles. He tries to bring joy by smiling and expressing it. That's how I see Rinpoche as a child, in his childhood. And I thought it was amazing because he was badly neglected and not taken care of. And later on, even abused, So for us, it's very different. When someone tells us off, we have a sour face, we have a black face, we're not happy. And if someone takes a picture, the face so long will drop to the floor. So we are very different. When we experience a little bit of hardship, difficulties, crisis, we show it. We immediately retaliate. We show it to people. Sometimes we snap at people. We are angry. Rinpoche takes it in, and he smiles to the camera. That's what. Rinpoche didn't actually tell us that, but I immediately saw it when I looked at Rinpoche's pictures. because I thought it was quite sad. You know, when Rinpoche tells the story, it's so different from the pictures. You know, when I look at the pictures, he looks like the happiest child ever. He had the best childhood, the best parents, most loving parents who gave him everything he ever wanted, who was the kindest to him. But no, he was abused. But he was smiling when he was a child. Then later on, of course, Rinpoche, you know, later on, I know some of you saying, oh, but later on, Rinpoche, as an adolescent, he didn't smile much. Yeah. As it became worse, as Rinpoche's, which I will cover next week. I think it would be better if I cover it on a separate weekend, because there's a lot of details that I need to go into, and I think it's important to understand Rinpoche from his perspective and his from what he's thinking. That's why it's good to read Rinpoche, and it's also good to understand Rinpoche. And I wish to convey that to you guys, because I've heard Rinpoche explain so many ways, and I always like to hear Rinpoche explain it, because he always gives me a little bit of insight into how he feels. I think that's more important than reading about what happened to him, you know, because it gives you an understanding of how he thinks, as you know, in his childhood, in his adolescent, in his young adult, and later on. And how I also will explain also what's the distinction. So I gave you basically so far. Hi JC, cool. You were there earlier, I think. Hi Nancy. So what happened is I gave you a rundown of Rinpoche's early childhood, you know, from Taiwan to America, and the significance of the dreams that the mother had, that he's a bodhisattva, which is represented by the elephant. I also spoke about his love for animals, and I went on to talk about compassion and how he had many Dharma imprints, so it was natural for him from a very young age, and the things that he used to do, imprints from his previous lives, and I spoke a little bit of what imprints are, and of him being a teacher, of being a master, a scholar. Hence, he played little games where he composed texts on strips of paper, you know, and taught to an imaginary audience. So these are imprints from his previous lives. Obviously, how many children you see role play as a spiritual teacher? I've not seen any. I've never heard of, except from Rinpoche's case. So those are all very obvious Dharma imprints, and then his undying thirst for knowledge, deep fascination for Buddha statues, and just, you know, from very natural. And he, although he likes it, it's not like us, you know, when we have a pursuit for, you know, some of us, we love Buddha statues. What we do is we buy lots of Buddha statues if we have the financial capability, and we crowd our rooms and houses with it, full of them, and that's it. You know, we take it like an art piece for some of us, okay? But for Rinpoche, it's not an art piece. You know why it's not an art piece? Because he would draw and give it to people. Rinpoche explained, he drew Buddha pendants out of paper at that time, you had paper. Buddha pendants, meaning he drew it and cut it out round, and then he laminated it, I think with cellophane tape, I think, and then tied strings to it and gave it to people. He had a natural belief that when people wear Buddha pendants, it will protect them. Paper pendants, that is. So, hi Tata Ong, hi Nicholas. So, that's Rinpoche. That's natural from him. Who taught him? Nobody. I don't think the monks do that. Maybe they did, but Rinpoche did not say much. And so what happens is, even if they did, but it didn't inspire the other kids, it only inspired Rinpoche. So it was an imprint from Rinpoche's previous life. Very obvious. So I also spoke about how we, if you want to meet the Dharma early on in the next life, okay? Because some of us I've heard before, some senior Dharma brothers and sisters who said that, oh, they wish they met the Dharma earlier, and so how do we go about it? Plant lots of Dharma imprints, listen to the Dharma all the time, do your retreats, do your sadhanas, volunteer, you know, These are various ways, and later on, maybe when more on methods come to my mind, I will say in future talks. Give your time, your effort, volunteer. All these. Every time you see a Buddha image, you see this planted in our mind, small one. And every time we do our sadhana, every time we listen to Dhamma, every time we hear this story, it will plant seeds in our mind. So I see a lot of people coming on. I don't see any questions. I'm very happy to share Rinpoche's life, and there's more importantly the significance of. Hi Keishong, nice to see you. Most important is the significance. I feel when you read and hear about Rinpoche's story, you must understand the significance of how it's different from a normal child, how it's different from us, how does Rinpoche, had these qualities from young, what kind of qualities are these? So that we will know how to develop the same qualities within ourselves. Oh, okay, I've got a comment/question here. Despite Rinpoche being badly neglected, his compassion is endless, especially toward his biological parents, adoptive families, and caretakers. Although all through his childhood days, all the abuses that were, I can't see already. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can. All the abuses that were hurled at him is forgiven. That's my main learning point in this sharing session on Rinpoche's early childhood. Yes. I will say this about Rinpoche, okay? I mean, in looking at Rinpoche's life as a whole, collectively, Rinpoche had experienced a lot of hurt and pain, neglect, and not nice things from people. Okay, so what happens is, one thing, if we were to experience the same, we would not be able to be like Rinpoche. Depending, some of you may be, some of you may not. So for me, I would not be able to have develop that kind of compassion, because it would be too overwhelming. So what happens is, what Rinpoche was incredible in the sense that he had used the teachings to change whatever pain and suffering and turn it into benefit for people. I've got a question. What was the mantra you first heard from Rinpoche? Melvin Fu. Manjushri. Om Ara Patsana Di. Yeah, literally. Because when I first heard it from Rinpoche, I was like, what mantra is that? Because Rinpoche pronounced it he recited very quickly. I remember I went to dinner once with Rinpoche, and then Rinpoche saw a stray dog, and he was reciting the mantra, Om Ara Patsana Di, Om Ara Patsana Di. I was like, what mantra was that? I didn't even know what a mantra was at the time. This is what is Rinpoche reciting? I was wondering, it was that time, I was a Dharma virgin, totally new to Dharma, so I didn't know. So that was the first mantra I ever heard from Rinpoche. Yeah. Then later on, of course, I heard many more. So I remember very clearly Om Ara Patsana Di, and it happens to be one of my favorite Buddhists. Okay, so yeah. So back to Rinpoche. I thought, for me, a summary of Rinpoche life, childhood, and all is that his ability to take all these adversities and pain and suffering, and somehow change it to become an inspiration for him to benefit others, to be kind, to be kinder, to be more skillful, to benefit people. So for most people, I think we have a little bit of, difficulty, pain, upset, disappointment from loved ones, from whatever it is. We become a little bitter, we become a little sore, and when we bring up the point, we get angry sometimes. We develop a bit of anger. For some of us, a bit of anger. For some of us, different qualities, that negative qualities in us, based on bad experiences in our previous, experiences earlier on in our childhood or earlier point in our life. So in that way, Rinpoche is different, and Rinpoche's life becomes a source of inspiration for us to be like him. to our own capacity, of course. So what I'm trying to say here is not necessary to go and accept all the sufferings of the world to become cuckoo. That should be our aspiration, of course, but at the moment we may not have the capacity. So what's most important is to transform our own negativities first, and then through our transformation we can inspire others. Okay, don't go out and be a martyr hero. Go and, oh, everybody treat me bad, you know, I will benefit you, like Rinpoche did. That's not very skillful, just to let you know. So more importantly is transform our own negativities, our lack of merits, increase our merits, increase our learning, increase our skillfulness through the Dharma, through listening to teachings, through being compassionate, through being kind. Start with our loved ones first. You know, that's always Rinpoche's message in the past. And transform ourselves, and that's how you're able to benefit the world. You never know how far-reaching our benefit can be. It starts from ourselves. Never use the Dharma to judge others condescendingly or whatever motivation we may seem to have. Instead, use the Dharma to change ourselves. In the Dharma, according to the 50 verses of Guru devotion, we should always use the Dharma first for ourselves, and then when we see someone who contravenes the Dharma, to tell them nicely. We always have to tell our Dharma brothers and sisters, sometimes we see something is wrong, we have to say it nicely. We have to say it with kindness and compassion and care and concern, not because we are pissed off or angry or irritated by what we see. Have patience. I know sometimes it's difficult because sometimes it's very irritating, I know, because I experience the same irritation myself and I have to hold on. Because that drives me nuts, this person. Calm down. Find a space in mind where you will actually able to tell them nicely with advice, with care and concern. That's how you practice Guru devotion. Because right now, we are all without Rinpoche at the moment, at a very, very short moment. So we rely on each other. So, and also at the same time, it goes the other way around. It also goes where if we ourselves are doing things that are not good, and people are telling us, I've given this advice to someone before. Don't listen to the tone of how people tell. Some people, tell us in an angry way, in an irritated way, and so we get angry, we get frustrated. We don't like how this person is telling us. Never look at the tone. Always look at the message. Yeah. Never ever look at the tone and how people convey the message. It's not easy. It takes a bit of practice. It takes a bit of patience. It takes a bit of. Sometimes you need to step back and then think about it and then come to terms with it. Because I don't think I have totally mastered it, but I try. And so please don't go around, Pastor David, telling me off and testing me to see my patience. I'm still practicing just like you. Okay, so and same goes with you. So we all practice together. We help each other. So we should help each other succeed, as J.P. Tao tells us, by helping each other, being patient and kind with each other. So that's how we practice devotion to our teacher. Okay, so that's my little bit. It's already 12:30. Oh, what time is it? Okay, so if we have no more questions, then I will do a bit of dedication. And because it's wonderful always to listen to the Dharma, although it's a story of Rinpoche and it's a little bit of Dharma sharing for me, the significance of Rinpoche's life, and a little bit of my experience in the Dharma and sharing with you guys. Everything comes from Rinpoche. Everything comes from being with Rinpoche as his student, being a Dharma brother to you guys, some of you guys, and it's from years of being with Rinpoche. and a little bit of Dharma has rubbed off on me. Not totally, I'm not perfect. This does not signify renunciation yet. Perhaps one day. So I just thank you very much, everybody. I see a lot of thank you. So I guess no questions. Thank you very much, and till next week, same time, to our next what do you call this? Spiritual Saturday, our virtual spiritual Saturday, where we talk about Rinpoche and the Dharma. Thank you. Okay. Chanchu Sencho Rinpoche, Mate Pana Rinpoche, Keba Yama Mi Payang, Bone Goto Pewasho, Toni Tonga Rinpoche, Mate Pana Rinpoche, Keba Yama Mi Payang, Bone Goto Pewasho, Daso Chini Sapa Diwadi, Tana Dua Kunang Kampata, Jeba Jezo Loson Drapa, Tanking Govinda Sa, Sho, Keba Kuntoni Nagamata, Jemi Choki Pava Bancho, Sada Langi Antona Chuni, Doji Changi Kobang Yutosho, Gewadi Yuda, Lama Sangi Jubini, Joa Chika Marupa, De Sava Kobasho, Juju Boson Kapa, Chuson Namakewa, Yegi Shama Jivata, Juni Mawa Shama Sho, Dada Shingi Sundan, George Latini, Yawa Loson Drapa, Tampa, Division, Hotel Santele, Neme Goyan Delashi, Yasan Datu Paleta, Conducing Euro, Conducing Joshi, Jason Lama Putsa, Consing, Country, Loss on Tami, John Sansan, Jonas Tatumi, Gang, Commission, Pendant Devil, Generally, 1,000 Castle, Shapi City Party, and home to be more to Mama, and the Dallas, so according to them, it was shoot and sell. Thank you very much.